So, what was my experience like in rehab? It was interesting to say the least. I was the only Asian at the rehab that I was at. If anybody has heard of Victory Outreach, you already know exactly what kind of a rehab this was. This was a free Christian rehab. Everybody inside in the program had to be on food stamps to feed themselves. That type of one. No government funding, no Malibu beach, just you work labor and you get a free stay. So, needless to say, my experience there was very interesting and challenging. If anybody out there is knows somebody or you yourself is you might check in a rehab and you don't know what to expect, well, rest assured that I'll let you know everything about the free rehabs out there. Well, at least the one that I went to. My experience at this rehab, I came straight out of jail, and me going to jail is a whole other story. That's a whole different video. So in this one, we're just gonna be talking about the recovery center. And so I came straight out of jail to the rehab, got transported by a pastor, and got dropped off here in Bakersfield, California. I'm not originally from Bakersfield. I was doing time in Los Angeles County, and they just decided to put me in a rehab far away from my friends. So I said, yeah, let's do it. And they dropped me. Well, that wasn't the first time I went to rehab. This is my third try. Before this, I ran away from 2 different rehabs in Los Angeles. It was a shit show. I get to this rehab, and it's a church. I get to the church, and the home is beautiful. There's no bugs, and we each had our own bunks. We shared a master bedroom with 10 men. It had 5 bunk beds in it, two people per bunk. We shared that one closet from that master bedroom. There was a his and hers sink for the restroom situation and one shower. So getting ready for church was a nightmare in itself. Other than that, the program is basically labor orientated. You work for the church and the different businesses that they own, and you are allowed to stay. And that's basically how it funds itself. The men inside the program pay their own rent if they are working, and if they're not, then they work for the church. Service was Wednesdays and Sundays, and me coming from a non-religious, family, it was very just going to church Wednesday and Sunday every week. That was a challenge in itself. We had to wake up at 5 o'clock every morning and come down for prayer and then listen to a devotional, which was challenging, but you have to abide by the program and follow their rules in order to move up. And eventually they would let you work, get a job, save up your money, get an apartment and a car, this, that, and the other. So there are incentives to go into this program. The first 8 months you're there, you're pretty much working for the church. You go to meetings, church, and that's your whole life for 8 months. And then if you're good during that time, then you will be allowed to get a job in the real world and make actual cash. And at that point, you will be asked to pay a certain amount of rent, depending on what program you're in, what house, how that director runs it. It's totally different for each house. But yes, you are asked to pay rent. Eventually, you'll be allowed to get a car, and you will have less responsibilities throughout the home and the church, and you transition into the real world. That's exactly what happened with me. I did the program. On my 8th month, I got a job, got my first car out of rehab, and started saving up for an apartment. And that was another journey in itself. So it didn't go as smoothly as I'm saying it. This is a rough paraphrase on what happened exactly, but I could definitely get into like different scenarios that happened in the rehab. I tested dirty twice. Your boy is not perfect. Like, shit happens, people relapse, and we could get into all of that. But this video is just more of like, my whole experience in general in a summary. So why was I in rehab? What drug? Well, there was a lot of drugs. It started off with weed, and then it went to ecstasy, and then it went to coke, and then it went to meth, and then it went to heroin. It's the most stereotypical way you can think of to evolve in your drug career. That's the fucking shit that I chose. I literally climbed up the ladder. It just got worse and worse to the point where I started to have to feed my addiction through, criminal activity, and that is why I went to jail. My main vice was meth. And yes, I did get to the point where I was shooting it intravenously. I am 24 years old, and I was doing that when I was 18, and I was probably doing it for 2 years and a half before I got clean. And well, if you are going to rehab and you have some type of like, you're scared that you've created like permanent damage to yourself, rest assured, if it hasn't been too long, where like your body is incredible, you go to rehab, you get clean, you eat right, you work out, you will get 100% back to where you were, and I am living proof of that. But if you do it right, you can definitely get clean, and you will be feeling 100%, and you are not going to be affected by this. And I did dabble in heroin a little bit, and that was my main problems as an addict, and I would steal and do whatever it took to get it. So I definitely needed the help. And to be honest with you, when I first got into the rehab, I wasn't going there like voluntarily. I was kind of just going there for a sweet get out of jail card kind of thing. Even though I did do time, I was just using it as a way to get out, and my original plan was just to finish the program and kick rocks and leave and probably go back to my old ways. But that's not what ended up happening. I finished the program and I graduated the program. I got a job and I kept saving money. I got an apartment with a roommate at the first job that I worked at out here in Bakersfield. These are adventures in itself. So, yeah, I got out of rehab, got an apartment, and now I live with my beautiful fiance slash wife, but we can't get married right now because of this bullshit coronavirus. You know, we're gonna get through this. We're all gonna get through this together. But let me introduce you to my beautiful wife.
Hello.
Hello, this is Catherine.
Hello, I'm Catherine.
Yes, and she's Filipino, and I am obviously Korean. We're joining forces, and we're creating delicious food here, and we also have a couples channel. Stay tuned for that. We're going to be eating, talking about whatever. I was more tuned on my job and cars because I love cars, and we can, if there's anybody out there that, you know, you need to talk to somebody about the rehab situation, or you guys just need to talk to somebody on the road to recovery, I'm always here. But now I live with my beautiful wife in our humble abode. It's our little studio apartment, and we have 2 kids. No, not human, but I consider them my kids. So this is Lady right here, and she's like one of the best. And we have the dog that gave her birth to her, which is Tosh right here. Tosh, say hello. Yeah, she's too old and tired now, but you know, this is the family. And we have another kid. I forgot about Miso. But if I can find Miso, maybe I can introduce you to her. Miso is a cat, and she doesn't really like me that much because I always stomp on her when I'm running around this small ass little studio. So while I'm out, it's kind of hard to see her. But anyway, we'll find her. Miso. Oh, there she is. Look, look, look. She runs away from the big man. So yes, that is the home situation right now. One of my first cars out of the rehab was a silver Honda Civic, like 2000. It was the year 2000, and it was a bucket. My car situation now, I have a 2010 Toyota Corolla LE for my daily, and then I have a Nissan 350Z DE Rev Up 6-speed manual. Yeah, there will be a lot more videos to come. You've already met our beautiful family. And we're gonna have a couples channel too, so stay tuned for that. Oh, so my name is Sergio, and you guys are gonna find out the last name because I mean our couples channel. But I mean, if you can read Korean, there's a little preview right there of what my last name is. 3, 2, 1. That's all you get. Try to figure that out. Anyways, stay tuned, guys.
Subscribe.